Welcome to the source. The source. Source. Hey, get the source.
Good morning. Happy Sunday to everybody. Hope you all enjoyed your Saturday more than I. Well, I mean, it was a fun Saturday in terms of seeing some good football, but man, college football, I had a terrible week 3, then bounced back and had a winning week 4. So coming in, this was week 5 in college football for those of you that aren't college football fans. So coming into this one, I was like, all right, that losing week's in the past. I bounced back. I actually liked my bets yesterday too. Didn't do well. College football just can't seem to get a feel for it. I thought I bounced back, had another bad one. So 2 out of the last 3 college football weeks have been bad for me. Let's put it in the past. We're coming off. I went 8-1 last NFL Sunday, so maybe I should leave the negativity on the Saturdays because we're coming off a good NFL Sunday. Obviously, as you can see, got 3 guests on the screen. We have 13 games to get through. First on the board is Broncos Jets in MetLife, and hold on. Let me do a quick test in the comments to make sure. I didn't even test. Why is the test not popping up?
It takes a couple seconds.
No, usually it's pretty. There are no locks when it comes to sports. That comment was a while ago. Hold on. Let me try refreshing the comment thing. I don't like that. Comments are an important part of the show.
I saw somebody say hi to me. Hi, world.
1 second. Let me try. I can fix the comments, but I want to try to fix it the right way first. I can rig it if it comes to that. Why is the comments not working? All right, I'm going to have to rig the comments real quick. 1 second.
PZ, I agree. Yesterday wasn't positive, but it wasn't the worst. I like that attitude.
We need more of that. 1 second. Comments are too important to not have it in the show. All right, that'll work for now. I don't know why we're having that issue. I'll send Restream a strongly lettered email after. All right, so Denver on the road at MetLife. Prop Beaver's here, by the way. He's in the parking lot right now. He went up there to tailgate around 6:30 this morning, so 3.5 hours ago. He's probably pretty tuned up by now. I laid the points with the Jets here. This is one of my smallest bets on the board. 1 second. Make sure I have the right graphics. I haven't produced the show in a while, so I'm rusty here. There we go. So I laid the 7.5. Basically, I really like what I saw from the Jets defense last week. Granted, it was against the Patriots offensive line that's terrible, but that Jets defensive front, specifically the pass rush, it's surprising me. They are putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback, and Bo Nix, even though he got active with his legs last week against the Bucs. I'm not seeing it here. He didn't do anything with his arm. I don't know how they're going to if it gets to a 3rd down. I don't know how the Broncos are going to convert. And the Broncos defense is improved, but Aaron Rodgers looks really comfortable. And I'm expecting to see almost the exact same football game we saw on Thursday night against the Patriots, 26-10. Type of game where the Jets are in control the entire time, but it's not exactly a blowout. I like the Jets to win by in between 11 and 17, which would cover this number. So Jets 26-10, I'll say final score. Again, one of my smaller bets.
I'll just go. I'd probably lean Broncos, but honestly, I don't have a strong feel on the side. The Jets looked good last week, but it's the Patriots. I feel, to me, I need to see just a little bit more to kind of see where they're at. But there's 2 player props on the same player that I absolutely love. It's Garrett Wilson, longest reception under 21.5 yards. Garrett Wilson under 54.5 receiving yards. If you don't know Patrick Surtain, get used to him because this guy is freaking good. Wilson only has 1 catch over 20 yards this season. In general, just 1 catch over 20. Surtain hasn't given up a catch over 16 yards at all. Denver's defense as a whole has only given up 1 catch of 20-plus yards. Garrett Wilson's ADOT's around 9 yards. It's not like he's running deep routes or anything like that. I think Rodgers going to get rid of the ball quick. Denver, top 5 quarterback pressure rate. And I think really the way he gets over this is maybe with some yards after catch or something like that, or broken coverage. But other than that, I mean, I don't see him getting a 22-yard catch in the toughest matchup he has. And then that kind of goes with the under 54.5 receiving yards. Surtain has absolutely shut down the number one guys. It's kind of like this Bill Belichick mentality where they take the number one receivers and they say, you know what, you're not doing anything. DK Metcalf, 3 catches, 29 yards. George Pickens, 2 catches, 29 yards. Mike Evans, 2 catches, 17 yards. And then Godwin had 53 yards. And by the way, Godwin, his other 2 games, 117 and 83 yards. They are absolutely shutting down the elite wide receivers. And not to mention, just a minor detail, Garrett Wilson barely goes over this anyways, just in general. I mean, he's averaging 50 yards a game, and now we're getting a line of 54.5. Doesn't make any sense to me. I like all things Garrett Wilson under today. So,
yeah, I talked about that in my YouTube video too. Surtain Island, that shit's real. He shut down 3 receivers in a row. But what I like about what I saw from the Jets on Thursday night against the Patriots was Rodgers finding success throwing to guys not named Garrett Wilson. I believe, I don't have the numbers memorized, but I believe on passes attempted to receivers not named Garrett Wilson, he was like 22 of 26. So a good sign entering this one where you're right, Surtain's going to be on Garrett Wilson, and he should be in hell. Other than that, I still trust Rodgers to make plays. So, yeah, I don't dislike that bet at all. Chris, what do you like about this one?
Nothing at all, really. It's one of the games that I wanted to pass on. But I guess, if I had to play it, and eventually the trend is going to buck itself, but these big dogs have absolutely been covering, right? And I look at Sean Payton on the road when he's gotten 7 or more. And, of course, this is not Sean Payton when he was with the Saints, but as a road dog, like he's been super profitable. I think 38 and 26 to the number. When he's getting a touchdown or more, 8 and 2 against the number. So, says that, they probably still run that little quick pace offense, trying to get the ball out of his hands pretty quickly. The Jets do have the major revenue period. You got a rookie coming off his first win in Tampa Bay last week. So I stayed off of this one. I'm not going to ramble.
All right. Toast?
Yeah, I tailed Sauce on that, but I also was looking towards some Allen Lazard props because of all the focus that should be on Garrett Wilson. So I wouldn't mind like an Allen Lazard anytime touchdown at like plus 350 or something like that for a sprinkle.
An Allen Lazard anytime touchdown?
Yeah.
I could see that. Man's finding the end zone this year so far. So I can see that.
I tailed the Jets with you, by the way.
Yeah, it's one of my smaller bets of the day. But all right, let's move on to the next one, end poll. And the next one is, guys, like I said, I'm producing the show here, so bear with me. I'm going to let these guys go first so I can set the screen up.
As he's setting it up, I can tell you guys about some weather in
the next game is Cincinnati, Carolina. So go ahead, Toast. Give us
actually some weather issues, some possible chance of rains with a little bit of wind going in there. So not the best day in Carolina. Nothing crazy, though.
Line is 4.5. Carolina is catching points at home. Total's now at 47. All right. Steve, you want to go first on this one?
Yeah, sure. It's one of my favorite totals of the weekend. I love the over here.
Me too.
And I got it at 46.5. It's 47 now. It's fine. Bengals over in 7 of their last 9 games. Just a quick trend. Also, Bengals are the 9th team in the last decade to be a road favorite after starting 0-3. Those other 8 teams, 8-0 straight up, 5-1-2 against the spread. Just want to throw that out there. But over 46.5. Seriously, we got 2 terrible defenses. Panthers 28th rush yards allowed. They can't get pressure at all. I mean, it's historically bad. Bottom 5 defending the pass. They're really bad in the red zone, which is what you like to see. They've allowed 9 trips to the red zone, giving up 8 touchdowns to their opponent. I like what I saw from the Bengals offense, pass offense at least. I think we get a little bit more from T. Higgins this game, second game back. And then we've seen the Bengals defense. I mean, they just absolutely struggle to get pressure themselves, or struggle to do anything really. But whenever they don't get pressure, the quarterbacks allow a quarterback to go 82.1% completion percentage, 8.2 yards per pass attempt. They just allowed Jaden Daniels to go 21 of 23, by the way. I just think with the Bengals offense now having like a normal quarterback, I'll just say that he's not an elite quarterback or anything. But now that Bryce Young is benched, I just still don't think we're getting the right totals on the books. I see this game in the 50s. I don't think any defense can provide much resistance at all. And actually, I do have a second bet. It's Zach Moss anytime touchdown. To me, he's still the guy in Cincy. 12 carries each of the last 2 games, 73.3% red zone rush share. Facing Carolina, who's allowed 4 rushing touchdowns already. I like Moss to get in the end zone here, and then love the over.
All right, Zach Moss, anytime touchdown. I should have a graphic here for that. Yep, there it is. Yeah, I'm on the same exact bet. Chris, you want to go next?
Yeah, just kind of following that trend of scoring. I actually like the Carolina team total a little bit more than this Cincinnati defense hasn't showed me anything. And I know it's supposed to be, a bounce back week after looking really, really flat against the Commanders last week. But what are we expecting Andy Dalton not to be able to score the football again? Last week when I did my show, I talked about liking the Carolina Panthers team total against the Raiders. I think it was like 16.5 just for them to get to 17. And what does Dalton do? Comes out and throws 3 touchdowns. So they clear this, just with his passing touchdowns. And I think that they can score again. Their team total specifically is 20.5. And I mentioned it. You also got the revenge game as well, right? This Cincinnati defense giving up a 75% completion percentage right now, which is the 3rd worst in the NFL. They're not getting any pressure, as we saw last week with Jaden Daniels. And if they do, they're just getting beat on the back end. So I like Andy Dalton to go up and over his passing touchdowns as well. 1.5 is plus 150. Through 3 last week. I like Dave Canal. I think the offense is trending in the right direction. I did see that Deontay Johnson is going to be active for this game, even though they did lose Adam Thielen last week. So yeah, I like Dalton 2 touchdowns. The Cincinnati defense gave up 2 to Patrick Mahomes. They gave up 2 last week to Jaden Daniels. So yeah, I'll take Carolina team total over 20.5. Thinking that they get to 21, they'll score 3 touchdowns here, and I'll take Dalton up and over 1.5 passing touchdowns plus 150.
Yeah, I agree with both these guys. I would agree more. I'm more certain that Cincinnati's going to score points. I think Dalton can score points too, so I think that also hits. But Cincinnati, obviously, a terrible start to the season. It's not the offense. The offense had one bad game against New England in week 1, and first impressions are everything, especially with crazy-ass NFL fans. So week 1, the Bengals are broken and all that. Yes, they haven't looked good, but since then, the offenses look fine. They look fine in the Kansas City game. They scored on damn near every single possession on Monday night. It wasn't the offense's fault. Cincinnati's offense looks to be in tune, and like both these guys said, Carolina's defense hasn't looked good at all, and they also, the killer here is they lead the NFL in zone coverage frequency. This team lives in zone coverage, and for back-to-back years, last year and the start of this year, Joe Burrow has much more favorable splits against zone coverage. So a hungry Bengals team that needs a win badly against a bad Carolina defense that's going to be sitting in zone. Joe Burrow should be able to score on literally every possession here. And then on the other side, it's not necessarily that I'm like, Carolina's going to drive down the field and score like they did last week, even though I think that's very possible. Cincinnati's defense is bad. It's more just what I expect to see. If in defense of Chris's bet, Andy Dalton has shown us over the last couple of years that if he has time in the pocket, he'll score points. Even last year, this guy is aging. You look at last year, going Pro Football Focus, sort by clean pocket splits. Andy Dalton, right up there, like 12th in the NFL. Every single year, the one thing is certain about Andy Dalton, if he has a pocket to throw from, he can make the throws. So Cincinnati not only hasn't shown much of a pass rush this year, but they're also dealing with injuries. I believe both of their defensive tackles are out. Hendrickson was sick. Is there an update on Hendrickson? Does anyone know? Toast, can you get me that? So Hendrickson has been the backbone of that Cincinnati defense. He's good to go?
Full participant, yeah.
Okay, so that's good. He was sick. He didn't practice a couple days this week. So if Andy Dalton has time, he's going to make the throws. But he also, what else is Andy Dalton good for? A pick 6. So I also could see Andy Dalton giving us 6 the other way. I got this at 46.5. Andy, I don't think you can get that number anymore, but I'd still play it at 47 or 47.5 if that's where it's at now.
Yeah, if you don't tell the over, I would focus on the Cincinnati team total side. It's just really hard to trust this Cincinnati defense. I don't think you guys need me to tell you that since these guys have already do it. But I also will say that Joe Burrow has been pretty profitable in this spot in his career as a favorite of higher than a field goal on the road. So I would focus on the Cincinnati offense and not have to worry about that defense for another week.
Cool. Let's move on to the next game. All right. The next game is Eagles-Bucks, which I think is an interesting one, and I'm dying to place a bet here. I I think the Eagles are going to win this game. But all right, let me get the poll up and everything. We got.
Yeah, while you're doing that, I'll just go real quick. Then I don't have a lot to say. Eagles 7-15 against the spread in the first half. The last 22 games, if you like, that's Tampa Bay plus a half in the first half. But I don't have a best bet. A lot of injuries in this game. If I had to do anything, it'd probably be Bucks team total under 21.5. I think that's a good look. I really liked what I saw from Jalen Carter last week. I don't know if you guys know this. I may have made fun of the Eagles defense, pass rush, and all that, but lately they've been pretty dang good, especially last couple weeks. I think they're like a top 5 pressure rate or something in the last 2 weeks. So Jalen Carter, I think they can slow down this Bucks offense, which we saw struggle last week as well against Denver. And really the Bucks in the last 2 weeks have scored 20 and 7 points. So I'd lean Bucks team total under 21.5. But other than that, I don't have anything for sidewise.
I like that angle because I think the Eagles defense got branded as this terrible defense, and that's not really. You said Bucks team total over. I have a Baker under passing yards graphic.
No,
I'll write it in.
That's for me.
Sorry, it was just.
That's for you, Chris. All right, go ahead. So, let me get that up for Chris. All right, so first, Steve's gonna have Bucks team totals.
I wanted to make life hard on you this morning.
Not having prop beaver sucks. All right, Chris, go ahead. Baker under passing yards looks like you.
Hey, prop beaver, I'm petitioning for a raise for you, prop beaver. But I like just kind of following that same sentiment. It sounds like the team total under definitely aligns with Baker Mayfield to go under on his passing yards here. 231.5 was the number that I got a couple days ago, but I think you can get a 233.5 as well. And for this game is one that I think we do want to probably the most impactful game due to the weather. So the weather will be in play in this one. I think it's a chance of thunderstorms, high humidity. It's going to be played like 90 degrees. And I look at this Eagles defense. They've been very solid against the pass. They're actually number 1 in opponent completion percentage, allowing teams to just 57.3% and just 205 passing yards per game through the air so far. I'm looking at the game script and I'm thinking that Tampa Bay should be able to take advantage of Philly's run defense that had been pretty poor in the first few games, if you look at the numbers. And then there's Baker Mayfield, 186 yards per game through the air so far. But I think that's a tad bit misleading because you saw what he did to my Washington Commanders defense in that first week, 289 yards against the secondary. He comes back down to earth in week 2 against Detroit with just 185. Last week, he throws for just 163 versus Denver. So he's 2-1 to the under so far. And I just think Philly's defense is going to step up and going to continue to play well. Just kind of going back to what we saw last week with them versus the Saints. So I do like the under here. I think this number is a tad bit too inflated for Baker Mayfield in a game that, like I said, the weather conditions could be pretty poor.
Yeah, like that. And the weather conditions, even help my call here. My main angle. I don't know what the hell Tampa's defensive front is going to do about the Eagles' run game. I know Lane Johnson is out, and I know everyone's talking about, what are the Eagles going to do without A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith? The same thing they were going to do if they were on the field. They're going to run the shit out of the ball. This was the main reason that I had Eagles +3 as my top bet last week. It's like because the Saints' defensive front, they're not going to be able to stop the Eagles' run game. And by the way, if you watch that game, the final score was not indicative of how that game went. The Eagles outgained them by about 200 yards. Sirianni, as I tweeted out, was on bath salts making some of those decisions. They should have won by 10+. So now here we are. The Todd Bowles days wherever Todd Bowles goes, they have an elite run defense. They're gone. Tampa Bay can't stop the run right now. Not to mention they're banged up on the defensive front. We're talking about the Eagles' injuries. Vita Vea was questionable, missed some practice this week. They're also missing Clancy. So they're not healthy on that side of the ball, Tampa. They've been getting run on this year. Philly's going to come out, give the ball to Saquon Barkley, who's looking like one of the most effective offensive players in the NFL so far this season. Hopefully he's able to stay healthy. There is something to be said if the Eagles plan on making a playoff run. I don't know how you're going to do it giving Saquon Barkley 30 touches a game. He's shown us that he's injury prone, so I don't know how long that lasts for with that type of play style. But in this one, if the Eagles want this win, give the ball to Saquon Barkley behind that big offensive line, and the Bucs aren't going to be able to do a damn thing about it. And on the other side, I'm talking all this shit. Let me get my graphic up. On the other side, Tampa's offense, look, what did I just say before? NFL, I mean, not just NFL, in life, first impressions are huge. And what did we see in week 1? Baker Mayfield went out there, threw a billion touchdowns, put up 40 piece or whatever on Washington, and everyone's like, oh, Baker Mayfield's back. Going to be another big year for Baker. Well, he's looked kind of like shit since then. I mean, his numbers look terrible. That Bucs offense doesn't look the same. And the Eagles don't look now, but in the last 2 weeks, do you want to know who has the second highest pressure rate in the NFL defensively? The Eagles, generating pressure. It's like 44.6% in the last 2 weeks. The Eagles are getting pressure on the quarterback. It wasn't really there in that Brazil game against the Packers, but since then, the Eagles pass rush is starting to come around, and the Bucs can't run the ball. So if you're thinking, the Eagles can't stop the run, well, shit, man. Not to mention Bucky Irving and Rashad White both banged up. I mean, I think they're both going to play, but they were both listed as questionable. So I think the Bucs offense is in for a situation here. I think Eagles can run the way to victory. The much better team. I haven't bet it though because the injury report stresses me out to even look at. So I like
Bucky
Eagles to win
Irving's
this
the
game.
man too.
What's up?
Bucky Irving's the man.
He is. He was cool as hell on Oregon. Is he still questionable? Do we have updates on those guys?
He was limited in practice, for sure. So
Yeah.
Toast?
And
I
to
was-
go back to that,
Go ahead,
I was just
Kevin.
going to say off that, what he was saying since week 1, Bucs offense. I mean, week 2, yeah, they beat the Lions, but guys, they had 216 total yards. Like it wasn't like they just completely dominated that game. The Lions had 463, by the way, if you watch that game. So they were dominated. So, anyways, I like all those.
Yeah, I'll be on the Eagles. I won't lie to you guys. For most of the week, I wanted to play Tampa Bay, but at the same time, if you look at Tampa Bay's dealing with some injuries, or I'm sorry, the Eagles are dealing with some injuries, but Tampa Bay's injury report is like a page and a half long, and some of those guys are limited, some of those guys do play, but at the same time, I mean, like I don't know who's healthy and who's not, and you have an Eagles team that I think, like Kyle just touched on, is going to run the ball down their absolute throats. Not to mention the fact that under Nick Sirianni, he's been really good in this spot, like a revenge angle. Obviously, they lost in the playoffs to them last year. 13-4 ATS over the last 3 seasons when looking for revenge under Nick Sirianni. So, fly, Eagles, fly.
Yeah, I kind of wish I bet it, but with the Eagles missing those 2 receivers and Jalen Hurts, it's just I don't have the same faith in him that I had 2 years ago when 2 years ago when Jalen Hurts dropped back and he had time. I'm like, he's about to cook somebody, and now I'm like, please don't throw a pick.
Not that it means a ton either, but it really helped me that this game was pretty split. It's not like there was a heavy side on either one.
Yeah, I that's not like a public side or
Yeah.
It's pretty split down the middle on that one. I've been told that this next one, the Rams are a public dog, but who knows?
I've heard that multiple times too.
So we got the Rams on the road in Chicago. Toast, you said there was windy here? Well, I mean,
Yes,
I guess it always is in Chicago.
Slight chance of rain with 16-mile-an-hour winds blowing out to the northeast.
Slight chance of rain, 16-mile-an-hour winds. All right. Steve, anything for this one?
I have a lean, which I may not have given you, so I'm going to make your life hard, or you don't have to put it up. But it's just a lean. It came up with it late last night. Rams team total under. Big letdown spot, but I also do lean Bears. You can throw Bears up there too. I liked it better at 2.5. I know it's 3, but I think this is a great letdown spot for the Rams right here. I think the Bears finally get right. You saw a little bit from Caleb Williams. It's hard to trust Caleb Williams, which is why I kind of also like that Rams team total under instead. Bears have held 9 straight opponents now to 21 points or less. I mean, I don't see this Rams team coming in with backup offensive linemen, backup receivers, and just putting up a ton of points or anything. So, as long as Caleb Williams doesn't throw a pick 6 or they do something stupid, I think the Rams team total stays under. I like the Bears on the side. And just the last little tidbit that I just thought of late last night, Roschon Johnson, if you like to bet some player props, over rush attempts, 7.5. Reports are he's going to get a lot more carries now. DeAndre Swift absolutely sucks. I mean, he just sucks. He cannot read a hole. He can't do anything. Roschon got 8 carries last week already. Rams struggling to defend the run. This could be a Roschon game. Over 7.5 rush attempts is a good look. So just a bunch of random leans. I didn't make anything official, but that's kind of what I like in this game.
This will be a quick one because the only bet I actually have placed is this one, and I haven't even looked at this line is still there. I took Kyron Williams over 18.5 rush. That's rush attempts, and he put rush yards. That's rush. Damn it. Let me get that off the screen.
He should get over 18.5 rush yards too, though.
I think he gets over 8.5 rush yards.
It's and that line is long gone.
What do they have? What's it at now?
19.5 minus 135.
Oh, man.
You're sharp.
Yeah, I guess I'm sharp. No, well, the reasoning behind it is the game plan in this game is very clear for Sean McVay. The Bears pass rush looks really good. They've seen a couple good offensive lines still generating pressure. They were all over Will Levis in the opener. Since then, like I said, they've seen the Texans and the Colts, 2 solid offensive lines still generating pressure. I think this Bears pass rush, we're going to discover as the year progresses that it's very good. The Rams' offensive line is a mess. Even if they're healthy, they're not very good in pass protection. Stafford's struggling when pressured. That's just a nightmare situation for the Rams, is Stafford dealing with this Bears pass rush. Like, going into Chicago, dealing with this Bears pass rush. That's a nightmare. I think Sean McVay's best course of action to deviate from that, to limit that from affecting the game, is hand the ball off to Kyren Williams. We saw him finally look alive a little bit in that 49ers win. I think he only averaged like 3.8 yards per carry, but we saw the volume. He was getting touches. He was making an impact on the game. This Bears run defense, I'll go to bat for the Bears pass rush. I'm not sure if this Bears run defense is any good. They shut down Houston, but other than that, Titans ran all over Chicago in the opener. Colts were able to run on Chicago last week. I think we're finally going to see Kyren Williams have a good game, his first good game of the season. Everyone's kind of sold on this Rams rushing attack. Me and Toast have had YouTube shows on, NFL stuff for the last 48 hours, and I've heard so many times, like, Rams can't run the ball and all this, where it's like, man, second half of last season, Kyren Williams came back from injury. They were a top 5 rushing attack. Now, I'm not implying that the Rams are going to be a top 5 rushing attack, but to all of a sudden be like, they can't run the ball anymore. I think they'll be able to run the ball on the Bears here. But on the other side, I don't know what to even say about the Bears offense. How do you fail to get the run going against the Colts? The Colts missing Abukum. The Colts missing DeForest Buckner. How do you not run on that team? Ole Miss could run on that team, man. I swear to God, Ole Miss can run on the Colts defense in its current state. So for DeAndre Swift to not get anything going, maybe it's his fault. I don't know. I have no faith whatsoever in the Bears offense. So if you're asking me to pick a side, I'll put up Rams. I think this one could go under the total, like maybe, I don't know. I have that rush attempts prop. It's the only bet I have down. I'm wasting too much time talking about it. I'm sorry. Chris?
I won't waste a lot of time. I'll just go back to what Just the Bet just said. I kind of agree with that team total under, because I just can't put money on some of these poor quarterbacks and just thinking that they're in a bounce back spot to actually win the game. So I prefer the team total under for the Rams as well. You mentioned it, a lot of offensive weapons being out. The Bears rush defense, the Bears being back home, I think, is going to just kind of ignite this team a little bit, kind of like what we saw in week 1 when they were laying 4.5 and they shouldn't have won. But yeah, I think they just play a little bit better at home on defense. So that's where I would go. But it's just a lean. I didn't play the game, and I won't ramble. I'm done.
Yeah.
I like the Bears. I think I'm going to try to figure out a different way to play them besides the -3. I think I might pair them and the Jets at like a nice plus 105 pies just to win the game. But one thing that I do like to do is fade Sean McVay anytime that he's not playing in the division. Sean McVay almost 13 games over 500 as far as ATS is concerned when he's playing in the division. He's on under 500 ATS when he's playing outside of the division. So I think that the Bears probably get this win. I just don't trust that offense either. So the fact that they have to win by almost more than a field goal, I don't want to deal with it. But I do think they end up winning the game. So, yeah, I'm on the Bears.
All right, let's move on to the next game. Hopefully a better one than this.
Someone in the chat said DeAndre Swift hitting those Trent Richardson gaps.
Yeah, Trent Richardson. That was my guy.
I haven't heard that name in a
college.
long time.
Saints, Falcons, and what is going on with the total in this one?
Dude.
If you guys watched my YouTube video, I said, what's the current line of this? Is it 1.5, 2.5?
2.5, I think.
2.5?
Yeah.
So if you watch my YouTube video, I uploaded early in the week, I think maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. I said that I like the over but it's being bet down. At the time, it was 42.5. It had been bet down from 45. And I was like, I like the over, but I'm not betting it yet. Maybe I could get a 41.5. I mean, I'm seeing 40.5s. So clearly, sharp money is coming in on one side pretty strong. They're hammering the under. I'm not seeing it here. I don't really understand. I think Derek Carr bounces back against the Falcons secondary. The Falcons don't have a pass rush. I mean, maybe they're saying because Kamara is banged up and they don't think the Saints could run the ball on the Falcons, but I don't really trust the Falcons pass defense. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'll go because this is one of my better bets too. I like the under 42.5. So
you're part of the under.
Whoa,
Okay.
Yeah, that's sharp money
yourself.
with me.
Yeah, that's you. It's all me.
Yeah, so this line's keep going. I seem to have found it in the middle. It opened at 44 points, I believe it was. But this thing has been bet down a lot. Saints also gone under in 18 of their last 24 divisional games. I mean, their NFC South battles are just a different animal. And then, like you said, injuries. I mean, it's not just Kamara injury, which I didn't check this morning if he's playing or not. He's dealing with quite a bit. It's like multiple injuries. I think one is ribs. It's not pretty for him. I think he's a huge part of this offense. But then you got guards Cesar Ruiz out, and then the Falcons are missing two big-time offensive linemen, as you guys know. Dahlman went to the IR. Caleb McGarry looks like he's out. If you got two hobbled O-lines, I just think we're going to see, a defensive pace type game. Saints slowest pace in the NFL. Now, I know the Falcons do play at a faster pace, so we'll see kind of where we're at there. But I just think if there's no Kamara, no running game, a one-dimensional Saints offense is not going to be great for Carr. And I know Atlanta's, secondary is not elite or anything like that, but you saw it last week. Kamara was allowed, only got 3.3 yards per carry. Saints only scored 12 points. Carr only had 142 pass yards. Vic Fangio figured him out. I think if they are one-dimensional and cannot run the ball and they don't have Kamara, maybe it'll be some Taysom Hill today, but that, that's not the same as Alvin Kamara. I just think it's going to be kind of one of those kind of rock fight type games. Falcons defense, top 10, fewest yards per carry against this Saints banged up O-line. I don't mind it at all. And then Atlanta, when you watch them play, they struggle in the red zone. So even if they can move the ball with Bijan and those guys, they've scored a touchdown on only 44% of their red zone drives right so far. I do expect their offense to get better throughout the season, but the Saints defense also, they haven't allowed a team to score 20 points yet. They just haven't. And it's crazy to think of. And you think they would, even in a huge blowout, they'd allow some points. They haven't allowed a team to score 20. They did struggle to defend Saquon last week, but he's a different animal. So, I do think Bijan is the key. I mean, if the Falcons run all over him, we'll see. Then this might be pretty tight. But just injuries to both O-lines, one-dimensional Derek Carr, all that kind of stuff. I think we see like a classic NFC South 20-14, 20-17 type game. So, yeah, that's my best bet.
Oh, man, I'm on the other side. I didn't bet it, but I was leaning the other way. Chris, what do you think?
I think Justin Bet made a lot of great points for the under. And the divisional thing always kind of, whenever it's division, I always think under anyway, right? So I didn't bet this one either, but it's for a lot of, I lean under for a lot of those reasons. The Saints defense probably continues to play really, really well. I don't know, man. I'm just not into trusting Kirk Cousins just quite yet. I know that they have looked a little bit better on offense, but I do think the Saints can limit Bijan just a tad bit and put the pressure on Kirk to be able to make. So I didn't bet this one. I'll be quick and precise, but I do lean under.
Here's my current thoughts on the Falcons offense. If Kirk Cousins has time in the pocket to throw, I think they could be very effective. And it's become pretty clear in their games. I mean, when he's got a pocket to throw from, he makes the throw, kind of like what I was saying about Andy Dalton. If there's any pressure on him at all, he's not very effective at all. Saints pass rush hasn't been good. There are injuries to the Falcons offensive line, but as a whole, the offensive line hasn't been terrible. They did play the Chiefs. They did play the Eagles, two teams that generate a lot of pressure. Well, the Eagles are now. So I think this Saints defensive front is a refreshing change of pace. Like I said when I bet the Eagles last week, I don't think the Saints defensive front seven is very good. They're aging. Their main pieces there are 35 years old. I like the Falcons to run the ball. I like Kirk Cousins to have a pocket to throw from. And then on the other side, I think Derek Carr bounces back. I didn't bet it, so I don't want to spend a ton of time on it. I'll put the over up under my face. We'll go ahead.
You sound like you like the Falcons minus 2.5.
I would lean that way, but it's up to 3 now.
Yeah. It's,
I was like iffy of the Falcons at 2.5, and maybe this is not logical at all. But last year the Falcons were the kings of 1 and 2 point football games the last 2 years. So like I'm not laying 2.5 with the Falcons, and the final score is going to be 24-23. I'll say over, or you know what? How about this? Let's put a Falcons team total over up.
I do see a 2.5 on DraftKings right now. Just so you know.
So yeah, I lean that way. What's the Falcons team total minus 2.5? The total's 40.
20 and a half.
There you go. That's
on
the
a couple books. It's a 21 and a half on a couple books too, but I definitely get that 20 and a half.
Yeah, I would be betting the over if it wasn't for the concerns with Kamara, because I really would like to have the Saints offense at full strength. But over, Falcons team total over. Don't really like this game. Toast.
Lackluster at best with Matthew Judon and Grady Jarrett with just 1.5 sacks. I mean, if Carr has some time today, they're one of the best offenses in the league over the last first 4 weeks.
Oh shit! Hold on. I had you muted. Go ahead.
The only reason, I'll just make it quickly. The only reason I lean the Saints is because I don't trust this Atlanta defense. Matthew Judon, Grady Jarrett, 2 guys that they really need to produce. Have only had 1.5 sacks this season. Not to mention Derek Carr as a dog on the road has been a very profitable spot in his career. Keep disrespecting the Saints. They're going to go marching.
I gotta say, the market, the market's view of the Saints has been so wild. I don't know if I've ever seen such a roller coaster. So in week 2 on the road in Dallas, if you guys remember, I liked points. I said the over, Dallas team total over. I like points. And I said Derek Carr would have a good game, and the Saints would score points on Cowboys. I was considered crazy for thinking the Saints could score points on Dallas. So the Saints light Dallas up. The next week, last week, Eagles +3 is my top bet. I was crazy for fading the Saints, that the Eagles could put Eagles +3 against the Saints. Oh, you're gonna learn. So I went from crazy to think the Saints could score points in Dallas to I'm crazy for taking 3 points against them. And now we're getting comments like Falcons are free here. So like they're gone again.
Hey, Cal, that's what happens when you get a sample size of 3 games.
That's true.
The Saints were the terror. You couldn't even fathom them scoring points. To how could you take the Eagles against the Saints? To Falcons are free. I've never seen such a roller coaster market perception of a team before. The Saints team, man.
Olave questionable with a hammy, also, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. That's part of the reason. Not just Olave, but the Saints offense as a whole is just everywhere you look. It seems to be question marks. But all right, I do think it goes over the total. I think you're wrong there, Steve. I wish I was confident enough to be like, no, you're wrong. But not.
Yeah, no. If and when I lose bets, I do it confidently. Yeah,
I did.
Yeah.
Props, and they're all juiced up. They've caught on. Like Young Wei Koo is like -160 or something like that.
So the days of kicker props are over.
They caught on. These bastards.
Next up, Jags.
Ladder him, Toast.
Yeah, just ladder him, bro.
I was just funny that you said that because I just told Kyle this morning. I wish you could do like 1+ field goals and then SGPM.
Yeah, that would be sweet.
Yeah.
Jacksonville on the road in Houston. What do you guys got here?
Chris, I'll let you go first.
Not a lot for me, man. I didn't bet the game, but I really want to take the points. I know Jacksonville is probably the worst, side that you've ever seen in football, but just kind of looking at some of those bounce back trends, season on the line, they haven't won a game yet. I know this line has already come down, which is one of the reasons why I didn't take it, because you could have got them at +7 earlier this week. So that's enough to kind of keep me off. But I mean, the Texans haven't been great. Like their offense has really, really struggled recently as well. And I'm not putting any numbers behind it right now, but I'm pretty sure one of you guys will be able to back that up. So I would be taking the points with Jacksonville season on the line. I know that they're still down, a lot in the secondary, which is enough to kind of keep me off. So again, I'm rambling, didn't play the game, so I'll pass the mic.
I did play it, but I'm embarrassed to say.
He tailed me.
He did alt line Jags -8. Yeah. So But on the side, this is tough because I don't think the Texans have looked that great.
No, they don't. They look offense looks bottom 10.
Yeah, it hasn't looked good. But I'm not taking a side because the Jags suck. Texans are 5-1 ATS in their last 6 after a loss. But my best bet, we did one last week and we almost hit a ladder parlay. This is the first leg of a ladder parlay. But just his original bet, Nico Collins, over 80.5 receiving yards. This guy is going to go absolutely.
Prop Beaver likes that one too.
On this team.
I always do his longest reception.
Yeah, there you go. And so I'm also going to ladder him up to 100+ receiving yards. I'll tell you who I'm pairing him with for plus 505 later. But just for this bet, over 80.5 receiving yards. I mean, Nico's the man, guys. He's a top 5 wide receiver in this league. He's been over in all 3 games, and even last week they got blown out of the water, and he still had 86 yards. Tank Dell looks like he's going to be out for this game also. And Collins is a guy who gets yards in chunks. He averages almost 19 yards per reception this season. His ADOT is around 13 yards. His yards after catch, good old Yak, he's averaging over 35 per game there too. And then kind of like Chris said, I mean, this Jags defense, it's not pretty. Their secondary's banged up. They rarely get pressure on the quarterback. Stroud's going to have plenty of time to find him. Wide receivers versus the Jags this year, Shakir 72 yards, Judy 73 yards, Tyreek 130, Waddle 109. It's not tough to get some yards on this guy on this team, especially when you're Nico Collins and you're the go-to guy. I think he absolutely dominates. Give me over 80.5. Give me 100+. Give me 2,000+ yards for Nico.
I'm gonna put this up on the screen. I just want you guys to know that like I don't like myself and I have a problem. So like I want to say like I bet the Jags. I took 6 points. There's a lot of self-hatred and honestly things I need to work out in my own spare time. I have to do it. I have to do it. It's a division game, and I got 6, by the way. It's at 5.5 now. It'll probably be Jags or pass at 5.5. Number's been bought down. It was at 7 originally. We're talking about the Jags offense looking terrible, right? And Trevor Lawrence looks bad. Why are we not having the same conversation about Houston, who, if you actually look at some advanced metrics at these two offenses, the Texans 26th in success rate, the Jags 19th. Yards per play, the Texans 18th, the Jags 22nd. Both of these offenses look bad right now. It's not just the Jags. The Texans run game doesn't exist. They came out in week 1, ran the ball with Joe Mixon. It's been awful since then. It's looking like the Jags of last year that can't run the ball at all. So I don't know how I can lay 6 points here with an offense that isn't working. This is a division game. We're talking about 6 points in a division game. The Jags season is over if they lose. This is it. This is the Super Bowl. If the Jags lose this game, they're going to start shipping off assets. Like it's a wrap if they lose this game. This is the Super Bowl. Houston can't run the ball. The Jags, by the way, the defense doesn't look good. They have a solid run defense. And weirdly enough, so maybe someone on the panel can make sense of this. The Jags actually have the weirdly efficient rushing numbers this year. They're averaging like 5 yards a carry as a team. The thing is, they haven't really run the ball because they've been down in these football games. But I think they're 8th in the NFL in yards per carry, 10th in success rate or something. They've been able
6th in early down success rate as well.
In 6th in early down success rate. Me and Prop were just talking about that yesterday.
Third in rushing yards per attempt too.
Yeah.
A big part of that is Tank Bigsby is a big part of that too. Bigsby's averaging 5.9 yards per carry right now. So
Yeah, so the Jags have been able to run the ball. The problem is they get down to the games and then they have to abandon it. If they're able to run the ball even a little bit against this Texans defense, I don't think either offense has any business laying 6 points. I'm on the Jags. Trust me, I know. I hate myself for it. I'm not happy about it. I'm not proudly sitting here with this Jags logo under my face, but I had to do it.
Yeah, I took the Jags the other day as well. Jags the other way as well, or the other day as well. I got 6.5. But regardless, you have a Jacksonville team that ranks 29th in the luck ratings on Action Network, and you have a Houston team that ranks 5th. Automatically, that tells me that it's going to come to the middle a little bit more. But more importantly, he was talking about the running game. Without Joe Mixon, Cam Akers is just absolutely terrible. He's 40th out of 54 qualified running backs. He's doing absolutely nothing. And Jacksonville ranks 6th in early down rushing success rate allowed as well. Not to mention the fact that C.J. Stroud has been been up and down at times, but like again, I mean, against Minnesota, Chicago, and Indianapolis, like he hasn't really done that too much to impress me. Not to mention we're getting Trevor Lawrence in a really low spot, 1:00 p.m. No one's really watching after that big mishap last week. Not to mention the fact when teams lose by 30 points or more and now dogs by 4 or more, 89, 50, and 3 ATS the last few years. I think the Jags actually win this football game.
Me too. It's disgusting.
Kyle, you took Jags, right, against the Bills in the last one? That's the beauty of sports betting. You watch that crap, and that night you're probably like, I'm never touching this team again. 6 days later, you're like, Jags plus 5.5.
I recorded a video for this game on, I think, Tuesday night, and I said myself, like, I can't lay 6.5 with the Texans, but guys, I won't bet the Jags. I said that 4 days ago. I said those words. Like, go clip it. I mean, like, guys, I can't bet the Texans here, but I won't bet the Jags. I'm holding the Jags ticket right now. Fuck.
Every day's a new day.
Oh my God. Like, it's not even funny. Like, I need help, bro. I need help. Next, Minnesota at Green Bay. I like this one. I think I'm on the right side here. I'm on the Vikes, by the way, guys. If you guys want to go first.
Yeah, I'll just be quick. I don't have, well, I do have a best bet, but it's short. I do like the Vikes on a teaser, by the way. If you're looking for a teaser, this is a great teaser leg. Get them up there, but I think I like the Vikes to win this game, to be honest with you.
Me too.
But my best bet in this one is just Aaron Jones anytime touchdown. It's the Aaron Jones revenge game. I mean, what else do you need? He's already talking to reporters about how he's going to do the Lambeau leap again when he scores. He's plus 135 is what I got. He has 2 rushing and 1 receiving touchdown already. 19 carries for 102 yards. Going up against that famous dad bod defense of the Packers. Competitive game script. I mean, I think they want to get him a touchdown. He wants that end zone. I just like him to score a touchdown. But just on the side, I do like the Vikings. If you want to trend, Vikings have gone under the first half total in 15 of the last 20 games. I don't bet first halves very often, but so that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm on the same side, and I like it, even though it's definitely a bit of a public dog. It's one of the more public dogs on the board for sure. I don't care. I think people keep waiting for the Vikings to kind of come back to earth, and they're getting branded as a certain way based on their quarterback, Sam Darnold, right? And I don't think people are realizing. Well, I shouldn't say I don't think people are realizing because they're betting the Vikings, but this Vikings team, without Sam Darnold, just take the quarterback position out of it, it's one of the best teams in the NFL. They have an elite offensive line, an elite pass rush, and I know Green Bay has been decent in pass protection. Our offensive line's done a good job, but it has been elite. The Vikings pass rush, those Brian Flores blitz packages, they've been elite this year. That's been the most impressive aspect of any NFL team this year is Brian Flores and this Vikings defense. They're coming. They're beating any pass protection. 49er, doesn't matter. They're coming. They're beating it. So I expect Brian Flores to make sure Jordan Love, who I believe is playing, right? We're assuming he's playing. The line is indicative of he's playing. I expect Brian Flores to make sure Jordan Love does not get comfortable in his first game back, sending all kinds of blitzes at him. This Vikings defense is probably the best in the NFL, and that's kind of my overall thoughts on this game. Is look, we're going to see these teams do this all season, right? That's how sports work. I'm getting the better team at +3 right now. Now, will the Vikings be the better team in Week 11? I don't know. Maybe not. Green Bay got hot in the second half of last year, but Minnesota's been elite on both sides of the ball, even on offense. Hey, look, Green Bay's defenses look pretty good. It's actually looked great. Let's give them some credit. Played Tennessee, and they've been good against the run, not elite. Minnesota's running the ball, creating 3 yards of space on every single snap. That offensive line, Aaron Jones looks smooth. He looks comfortable as hell in this offense already. Sam Darnold's got time to throw in the pocket, and he's been efficient. He's been accurate. He's been smart with the football. Getting a full 3 points with the team that I think is going to be in control of the game. I think Jordan Love's going to have to play hero ball to win this one. So yeah, I'm pretty confident that this is the right side. We'll see what happens, but I like Steve said, I think the Vikings win outright. Wait, you said you disagree?
Yeah, I disagree. I'm on the Packers here today. I really looked at the Flores blitzing because that's one thing that popped up. good thing to know that last year, and I know that he's coming off a little bit of an injury, but Jordan Love was one of the best quarterbacks in NFL facing the blitz. So that dude gives me a little bit of confidence with Jordan Love. I don't love the fact that he's coming off an injury, but the fact that Minnesota is a little bit of a public dog helps me a little bit. Not to mention the fact that Sam Darnold's been really good this year, but he's been blitzed on less than 20% of his dropbacks. If Green Bay can just get a little bit of pressure with that Halfley's defense, or however you say his last name's defense, who had 8 sacks last week against the Titans, I think that Green Bay is going to be live. I think that the fact that Green Bay's laying points is a book's telling us that they think they're going to win as well. You guys can have your points. Pack up.
Chris?
Yeah, Minnesota. I take the points. I take the points here as well. I think Toast makes a lot of valid points for wanting to play Green Bay. But the biggest thing that stands out to me is Jordan Love coming back off the injury, right? Like he's coming back against a really, really good defense. And I think the other way, like if you don't want to, take the 3 with what I would consider the better team right now, would be just to take the team total. You mentioned it, Cal. Like this defense has been really, really good. And when you go through and you just look at it, I pulled the numbers up. Minnesota has given up an average of 10 points per game. None of their opponents have scored more than 17. The 49ers got 17. They gave up 6 to the Giants, which you're not expecting the Giants to score that much. But 6, 7, and 17. And you can get this Green Bay Packers team total at 23.5 right now. I'm not sure either team gets to 21 points in this game. I know that, when you look at the game, the Green Bay has been really, really good at running the football. And I think that they probably still try to run the football here with Jordan Love coming back, kind of, trying to spare him and kind of, get him more acclimated to the offense. But Minnesota's defense against the rush has been so good. They're giving up 3.6 yards a carry, 71 yards per game, which is second behind Baltimore. Both of those numbers rank number 3. So I think Green Bay will struggle to run the football, even though they are the number 1 rushing team in the NFL right now. But I think they're going to struggle to score points. So I'll be on Minnesota plus the 3 and team total under for Minnesota as well in this spot, 23.5. I'm sorry, under for Green Bay, 23.5.
So Green Bay under 23.5. Yep.
I like it. 2 quick things real quick. Jair Alexander might not play also, by the way.
Yeah, I saw he
already got ruled out. He got ruled out. Since we've been on the show.
Is this down to 2.5 now? Because when I bet this at 3 last night, and then I woke up and I saw a lot of 2.5s. Can someone check an updated line?
I see 3 on DraftKings.
So there's
2.5 is consensus, but it looks like 2.5 is consensus.
Okay.
So unfortunately, the 3s are gone. If you haven't already got this one down on the Vikings.
Also, somebody in the comments said, "Who the heck cares about the betting public or anything?" I mean, guys, sports books and everyone are making billions of dollars for a reason. Betting public also, in case you're curious, which is 51% or more of tickets, 17, 30, and 1 ATS so far this year.
17-30. All right, Steelers. Minus 2.5, Colts plus 2.5. This is an ugly one. The Colts injury report, I don't know. It's a crime scene. Do you guys have anything on this one? Oh, I got you muted. Go ahead.
Fade in the world again. Colts plus the points. I feel like Steelers have been pretty lucky this year. And if you look at the Action Network luck rankings, they're the 3rd luckiest team in the NFL. But honestly, we're getting to fade Tomlin at the peak of his, season right now on the road in a spot where he's been absolutely terrible on the road, but like 7 games below 500 in his career compared to over 500 at home. This is just me a big F you to the world. Anthony Richardson finally shows out today. And that's about it. Yeah. But this is honestly everybody in the world betting the Steelers and me on being on the other side.
Yeah.
For me, Cal, I'm going to just go with what's been working, and that's Anthony Richardson to throw one of them things to the other team. To throw a pick. He's thrown 6 so far, and at least 1 in each game. Pittsburgh defense has 4 through the first 3 games so far. Even with Anthony Richardson continuing to throw the ball deep down the field, even with him throwing so many picks, he continues to throw the ball deep down the field. He leads the league with 5+ attempts of 40 yards. I think he's number 1 at air yards as well. He ranks 4th in the league at bad throw percentage, and he's last in targets passes intended to receivers. So he just, he's not an active quarterback. We know that already. So I'll take him. I got it at minus 135 on bet 365. Anthony Richardson to throw a pick. Just don't fail me, Anthony Richardson.
I want to respond to a comment about the Steelers and their defense.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good.
I want to respond to a comment about the Steelers and their defense. Keep in mind, they played Kirk Cousins coming off the first game of an Achilles injury. They played Bo Nix in his second career NFL start, and they played Justin Herbert, who was already hobbled and didn't even play the full game. So I don't really want to hear too much about this vaulted Steelers defense so far.
I don't know. I think the Steelers defense is pretty good. I think it's pretty good.
I'm just saying.
But yeah, I can't disagree with you there. It would only be Colts here. This is, I mean, you know, if you've been betting for multiple years here, you know that you're supposed to take the Colts here. I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying you know you're supposed to. Sell high at the peak of the Steelers' value. We're talking about laying points on the road with a team that's averaging like 14 points a game. I don't know how they get it done because the injuries are disgusting, but it's very clear they don't want to sell Colts +3 tickets. Colts beat the shit out of Pittsburgh last year. I almost don't like that.
Me neither.
But maybe it's a Anthony Richardson, couple of crazy plays. The thing is, even with the Colts injuries, the Steelers are the type of offense by the way, they're currently injured too. That guard is still out. Jaylen Warren isn't playing in this game. Najee Harris was in a cast early in the week. He's playing. He's fine. I don't even know what the cast was for. But he was seen in a cast. So the Steelers offense, where you're laying points on the road. That means you need this offense to score for you. You expected Justin Fields to go on the road and put on a clinic through the air? Like, the Colts defense is injured. It's not that injured. Like let's relax here for Justin Fields to go on there and throw 280 yards. I don't expect the Steelers offense to do enough here to cover, even if it is 2.5 points. I think the Colts win. I hate it. I didn't bet it, but I'm pretty sure this is the right side. Historically, this is the side you want to be on. Obviously, you know Mike Tomlin as a road favorite. I'm not really big on Tomlin's a road favorite. Fade. Tomlin is a home dog. Bet. Like I don't really blindly follow that shit, but it's worth saying. I think the Colts get this win. It's disgusting.
I got the people pissed off a little bit.
I mean, dude, Tomlin has. Wow, I gotta.
The best one was when this guy was like, "Toast, try not to say something retarded." Challenge. That was funny. I'll give you that.
All right, Mr. Colt himself, Steve is on record saying the Colts are one of the best teams in the NFL. I'm joking.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. First of all, I thought Prop Beaver didn't get on because the Colts won a game, and he said they were going to start out 0-8. So I guess that's not the case. If you bet this side of this game, I think you're nuts. I mean, how do you even bet a side? It's a coin flip game for me. But Steelers games have an average combined score of 25.6 per game, by the way. It's pretty low scoring. But this is the second leg of my ladder parlay, baby. Give me Curious George Pickens over 50.5 receiving yards as the main bet. But the ladder parlay 60+ receiving plus Nico Collins 100+. You get plus 505. So I love both of those. But let's just talk Pickens over 50.5 receiving yards. He's over this in 2 or 3 starts so far. His only miss was Patrick Surtain and the Broncos. We've talked about that already. We know what that means. He's had 7 targets on those 2 games, but he has a 25.4% target share. He's facing a Colts defense. We know they struggle. 24th most receiving yards given up to the wide receiver position. They're a bottom 5 defense defending the perimeter. They just allowed 2 Bears wide receivers to fly over this line. Romeo Doubs had 62 yards. And then I love the matchup because if you know the Colts, you know they play a lot of single high safety. That's huge. That's going to allow him to have big plays on the outside. He knows how to get open. He knows how to make those big plays. I think Curious George has a big game here. Over 50.5 receiving yards is my main bet. And then that little sprinkle in that ladder parlay with Nico Collins. And a side is who knows? Just flip a coin to me. So,
hey, Cal, real quick.
Hopefully that coin lands on Colts.
Hey, trend wise, Cal, you look at Tomlin laying 3 or less on the road as a favorite. He's 11-1 to the under. So offense doesn't come to play, defense does come to play, and the game typically stays under by about a touchdown.
I have a feeling this game goes over, but I don't really have any.
Somebody said that in the comments, and it got me good. He goes, "You know what? I'll just say it over 41."
Yeah, like, I don't have any logical reasoning behind it. But yeah,
George Pickens goes up for 150.
Maybe, yeah. Well, I mean, with Juju Brents and the injuries to the Colts secondary, certainly a favorable matchup for him to do so. I don't know. I could see the Colts after looking so ugly and injured, then all of a sudden being up 14-0 like in the first quarter. But anyway, Patriots at 49ers.
It'll be something stupid like an Anthony Richardson 70-yard bomb and then a fumble and a Jonathan Taylor run, and you're gonna
I could see that.
Don't forget the interceptions.
Oh yeah, touche.
Yeah.
After they
That's
get
a great
points.
play, by the way. I'm surprised that interception's even a playable line of
I know.
-135.
You know, -135 was early in the week when I gave it out. I think it is still -135, but it's -160 on some books too.
Yeah, that's where it should be probably.
Next game up, New England on the road in San Francisco. And I bet this one, and I'll go first because it'll be very simple. The current state of the New England offensive line, I think they're a full touchdown worse than any team in the NFL. That includes the Panthers. That includes everybody. What we saw on Thursday night, that was absolutely abysmal. That was terrible. The Jets' defensive front, they've been pretty good in pass rush. They haven't really been great against the run. They look like the 2001 Ravens out there. That Patriots offensive line, in case you haven't been paying attention to the Patriots, not only did they come into the season with a projected bottom 5 offensive line. So before we even get started, this is already a bad offensive line. Everyone is hurt. The center's hurt. The left tackle's hurt. The backup left tackle's hurt. Both of their guards were hurt last week. I think one of them comes back. Actually, he's questionable. I don't even know if he's definitely back. That Patriots line, the Patriots offensive line is in such bad shape. I mean, that's probably the reason we're not going to see much Drake May. And if they do put him in, it's going to be hesitantly because they don't want his first NFL experience to be behind this line. Jacoby Brissett is perfect because he's very good at handling pressure. He gets rid of the football. He doesn't take sacks. He doesn't turn the ball over. So he's safe with the ball, knows how to get it away, knows how to place the ball in places where it's either an incomplete or a great catch. So this 49ers defensive front, yes, it's missing Hargrave. 49ers aren't in great shape. They got injuries everywhere. The talent on that defensive line, they're going to do whatever they want against the Patriots offensive line. So, yeah, the Patriots are going to come out trying to run the ball. I don't even expect that to be able to happen behind this offensive line. And then, look, on the other side, I've been saying this Patriots defense is overrated. Last week on Thursday Night Football, I said Jets minus the points. People still have the Patriots branded as this good defense. I don't think that's a reality anymore, right? Belichick's gone. After a couple weeks, people are like, oh, the Patriots can stop the run. Can they? Or they just open up the season against Seattle and Denver, two teams that can't run the ball. I mean, a lot of teams are going to have decent-looking run defense stats if you start the season off against two teams that don't run the ball. So I expect Jordan Mason to do a similar to the Patriots as what he did to the Jets in that opener on Monday Night Football. 5 yards a carry. I know Trent Williams is questionable. I know Debo's questionable. Look, I know that the 49ers offense, it's dealing with all kinds of shit right now. You know what? Last week in the loss, they had 425 yards offense. They were still ripping chunks on the Rams defense. I got it at 10. I expect the 49ers to win in blowout fashion coming off back-to-back losses. 49ers by 21 plus.
Wow. Yeah, I tailed that. I think it's a good right spot for San Francisco. I really can't add that much more.
My big question is, does the biggest underdog of the week make it 4 straight outright wins? Because that's what happened. For the first time in over 70 years, the biggest underdog in each of the first 3 weeks has won outright. Commanders 7.5, Vegas +9, and Patriots +8. 2 of those 3 were against the Bengals, just FYI. I have no bets in this game. My lean is to grab the remote and turn the channel to a different game and not bet it. That would be all I have to give to you.
Chris, you on the Niners?
I mean, that's the only way I would play it too. You mentioned this offensive line. I think you made an excellent point at the top, Kyle. That's what I would have said too. You're already talking about a bottom 5 offensive line that also now is playing like the JV players, the practice squad players. So it'd be San Francisco minus the 10.5 in this spot. And you mentioned Debo. I think he's ruled in. You just got Trent Williams, I think, listed as questionable, but Kittle also got ruled in last night, I want to say as well. So yeah, just without Hargrave on the defensive side. But yeah, I think New England definitely struggles to score. The other way I think you can play this one, Kyle, is also a team total under. You can get the Patriots at under 15.5. I don't think that they get the 2 touchdowns in this game. And even if they do, you still got yourself that field goal in there as well. So I don't think that they get to the 16 points. That's another way you could play it.
Yeah, I agree. The Patriots offense should be in trouble here. And someone said the Jordan Mason averaged 5 yards a carry against this Patriots defense. That's kind of my point. The Patriots defense isn't good. People think it's good based on what we've seen in years past. I don't know what you've seen to make you. I mean, the Jets were piecing them up, doing whatever they wanted on Thursday Night Football. And the Jets offense up to that point hadn't even looked good. 49ers are going to make this Patriots defense look really bad. All right.
Yeah, you know what else, Kyle? The other part that goes into the defense that's not always quantifiable, just the time of possession. San Francisco is the number one team in time of possession. 59.4% of time they're holding possession right now, and the New England defense is on the field at the second highest rate because their offense struggles so bad. So that's the other thing. They'll weigh down as the time goes on.
Yep, I like that too.
The Patriots have given up the 5th fewest yards per carry for what it's worth.
Yeah, because they opened up the season against Seattle and Denver, and then the Jets don't run the ball either.
Trust me.
I agree. This is a different animal for sure.
I love me some Patriots best, especially in the first half. If any other time I would be jumping
did you take Patriots first half?
No, I didn't. Just because of the injuries on the Patriots. I just can't do it anymore. But I do respect me some Jacoby Brissett. But, yeah, I think the 49ers throttle him today.
All right, next up, Washington on the road in Arizona. I'm on the cards here. What are you guys on?
I have 3 bets, so you guys can go first or not.
No, you go first.
This is my showtime. Okay.
This is your day. Man. Or your game.
Okay, here we go. Both teams to score 20 or more points is minus 120. I don't understand how that doesn't hit at all. Cardinals team total over 26.5. And then Jaden Daniels, we're bringing him back anytime touchdown. But let's talk both teams to score 20 plus. These teams are averaging around 26, 27 points.
Do we want the anytime touchdown song for Jaden Daniels?
Oh, let's do it.
Yeah, let's hit the song.
Let's do it.
Anytime, touching it down, scoring it, running around. It's the anytime, touchdown, scoring. Anytime you need touchdown. Yeah.
All right, we're back. So we got a Jaden Daniels touchdown scorer. Let's get that on the screen. We got
on YouTube. Anyway, so yeah, both teams have scored 20 plus. I'll just talk that real quick, but we know these defenses struggles, the struggles that these guys have. Commanders are historically bad on defense, and I just think the Cards, they actually run through James Conner. The Commanders are gonna struggle to defend the run. When the Lions stopped the run of the Cardinals, that's when you saw them struggle. The Commanders are not going to be able to do that. I like what I've seen from Jaden Daniels. I know it was against the Bengals last week, but the Cards just faced 2 statues in Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford. It's going to be a little different animal here. I think these 2 teams, I can't imagine one of these teams not getting to 20 points. It's just, I'm surprised it's a playable line here. Neither team can pressure the quarterback at all. Love it. And then Cardinals team total over, we already know it. Marvin Harrison could be in for a big game. They struggle against number 1 receivers. I know McBride is out, but like I said, I think James Conner has a good game on the ground. They feed off that. I think they scored 27 or more. And by the way, the Commanders have allowed 28 or more points to their opponent in 9 of the last 12 road games. I mean, I don't see why that stops here. And then the third one, Jaden Daniels, anytime touchdown. Me and Kyle had him back in week 1. I thought we'd be getting, minus 110, minus 120 odds. I found it for plus 135. He has 3 rushing touchdowns already this season. This game has a total of around 50. I almost went over 50. I mean, everything about this screams points. So it'll probably end like 7-3 or something. But the red zone rush share for Jaden Daniels, he's tied with Brian Robinson. You have to think about it as a running back. 37.5% red zone rush share for Jaden Daniels. Obviously, the ability to break a long one too. I like Daniels to score as well.
This is one of my smaller bets, but I do have a few dollars on the Cardinals minus 3.5. I think it's the right side. We're talking about a dramatic shift here in Cardinals opponents. They go from seeing maybe the most difficult defensive front to see in terms of running the ball in Detroit. I mean, that might be the best run defense in the NFL. It's certainly top 3. And this is a Cardinals team that, Kyler Murray can make plays, but they need to run the ball. That's what they want to do. That's what they did last year. They want to run the ball first. So Cardinals are coming off a game where they were a terrible matchup for them. Matched up against the Lions defensive front that make it impossible for anyone to run the ball. Coming off that game to go against what should be the easiest matchup in the NFL when it comes to running the football. And I do think the Washington defense will improve as the season progresses. I mean, they do have Bobby Wagner there. Luvu is kind of cool. I like Doris Armstrong, too. He was a Cowboy last year. They got him on the defensive line. So I don't think this Washington Commanders defense is going to be a practical joke the entire season, but it certainly is a practical joke right now. This Cardinals team was one of the most efficient rushing attacks in the NFL last year. They look to be off to the same sort of start a little bit, struggled to run the ball a bit in Detroit. Actually, the Bills did a pretty good job against them as well. But this Washington defense, I don't know how they're going to make a single stop. And it's not like they have the option of selling out to stop the run. They can't. The Rams tried to do that. Kyler Murray put up a perfect passer rating in the game. Kyler Murray's on right now. I mean, he's seeing the field. He's making the throws. So the Washington's going to have to take their pick. I mean, let Kyler Murray throw for 400 or let the Cardinals rip 6 yards of carry on you all day. And I don't think there's a damn thing they could do to stop it. Look, on the other side, Jaden Daniels is the fucking man. No question. And they're going to score points. I like the over as well. But Cinderella's going to turn into a pumpkin eventually. We're going to see a rookie quarterback throw a couple picks eventually. He clearly is the man. But we're not expecting the Washington Commanders to average 40 points a game on the year, are we? It's going to come back down. So, look, Washington's going to score points in this game. They're going to move the ball. I'm expecting a turnover or two to let Arizona win by a touchdown plus. I'm on Arizona. Like I said, one of my smaller bets, though.
I'll just go behind him because I think Kyle stole a lot of my notes. But I agree with 100% everything that he says. Jaden Daniels looked amazing last week against the Bengals defense. Somebody raise their hand if you've ever said anything positive about this Bengals defense this year. And then the week before that, the previous week against the Giants, the Commanders moved the ball up and down, but they never put the ball in the red zone. And obviously, like Kyle talked about as well, Arizona hung around and played really well against the Bills and the Lions. And the only team that's similar to Washington that they played, obviously, is the Rams, and they blew them out. And he is 100% right. Kyler is back. He's all the way back. Washington loses this one.
And yeah, someone brought it up in the comments before. Cardinals defense is a bit improved, by the way. I don't think people realize how injured that defensive front was last year. So I think the Cardinals are branded as this terrible defense, and they're certainly not a good defense, but they're not nearly as bad as Washington. And I actually expect the Cardinals defense, it was doing a solid job against the run here and there to start the season. So I could really see the Cardinals defense giving Brian Robinson a hard time getting going. Jaden Daniels is going to make plays. He's too crazy athletic. I like the Cardinals win by 7+. Chris?
Yeah, I'll stay off the side. But I can't believe you guys got a lot of plays. Nobody mentioned the most squarest one on the table, which is Marvin Harrison Jr. up and over his receiving yards.
I mentioned it. It was almost a bet for me. Yeah, I hear you.
So it was 66.5, I think on Thursday when I played it, but it's up to like 71, 72 now. Number one wide receivers absolutely crushed my Commanders, dominate. I poor secondary.
Wait, hold on. Did you say my Commanders?
Yeah, I'm a fan, Kyle. Unfortunately, I got pictures from 25 years ago.
I didn't know he was a Commanders.
Where my grandfather's holding me, and I got my little Commanders with my Redskin football team onesie on back in the day. But this is I'm just betting on what I've seen with my eyes, and it's that wide receiver ones dominate us. Mike Evans in week 1, 5 for 61. Godwin 8 for 83 in the same game. Malik Neighbors went absolutely crazy for 10 for 127. Jamar Chase last week on Monday Night Football, 6 for 118. You also got the long cross country trip on a short week for my Commanders defense as well. They're allowing the second most passing yards per game at 255 so far this season. Marvin Harrison Jr. Snap counts are absolutely through the roof, 88%, 90%, and 70% so far. And I also like that Trey McBride has been ruled out. I think it was a concussion that he's been ruled out with. So, that's just even more, target share for a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr. So I played him up and over. I don't think it's, at all going to, surprise anyone that you could ladder him in this spot as well to 100 yards receiving.
Yeah.
I like that. Kyler Murray over his 1.5 passing touchdowns. You guys are kind of talking about it, but nobody mentioned it. Every quarterback that the Commanders have faced so far this season have thrown at least 2. And that includes Daniel Jones, of all people. So he had 2.
That was Daniel Bones.
Yeah. Danny Food Stamps. We talked about it a couple times already, right? Cincinnati and Joe Burrow had 3 last week. Danny Dimes had 2. And then in week 1, it was Baker Mayfield who had 3 as well. So, yeah, it's a bounce back spot for him this week. The Commanders play a lot of zone, and I think he's going to pick that zone apart. with his feet to get the ball down the field, and then it'll be, touchdown after touchdown in my opinion here. So I really like that both teams to score 20, because I do think the Arizona defense, while it's much improved, is not great. So I do think they'll get to 20. But favorite play, Marvin Harrison Jr. over 66 and a half. I think that's playable at the current number, and I really like Kyler Murray over his 1.5 passing touchdowns, minus 130. So it's a little bit of juice attached.
I'm on the same path as Chris there. In my props video, the two of my 3 bets that didn't quite make the video was literally Kyler Murray over 1.5 pass touchdowns, Harrison over. I think he has a big game here as well. Harrison, by the way, the line is now 74.5. So that's it's been skyrocketing, and that's why I think I stayed away. I got to it too late, but he could have a huge game.
B. Felly says Marvin Harrison Jr. over 5.5 receptions is plus money on FanDuel. B. Felly, it's me and you in the division, right? In the league, it's between me and you. We're neck and neck, and we're in the I think the Winnebago North division. Prop Beaver names the divisions. It's like if you're wondering why, if you joined the league and you're like Winnebago North, it's because Prop Beaver names the division. But yeah, it's between.
Sounds like Hunger Games place.
Yeah, his division's name. It's like Kimberton, Eastern Southern. So anyway, all right, let's go on to the next one. But it's between me and B. Felly today. Chiefs, Chargers. Well, we all know what we're supposed to do here, right?
Lay the points.
Yeah.
No. Opposite.
Take the points.
Yeah, take the points. But we know what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to eat our vegetables. We don't always do it. Yeah. That's the question. Do you have the cojones to take the Chargers plus 7.5? Are there any takers? Toast?
If you do it, I'll do it.
Damn it. Steve, come on.
I have the cojones to say I like Chargers plus 7 on camera and not actually bet it.
And not actually put any money on it.
Big old cojones for that. Guys, 3 of the last 4 meetings have been decided by 3 or less points.
Yeah.
Herbert is expected to play. I know he's hobbled. I can't really explain why I like it too much. But I mean, these guys just play close games. It's one of those divisional games. 7 points in a divisional game. You got to think about the underdog almost every time. Harbaugh, obviously a great coach. They can get a backdoor cover here too. 7 is a lot. But yeah, I haven't got there. Chiefs are, by the way, 8-1 against the spread though, the last 9 games. So they've been playing well.
Yeah, I mean, this is the spot you fade the Chiefs against a Chargers team that no one believes in. Division game, full touchdown. The Chargers are the side. You take the Chargers here. If you make decisions like that, you'll make money over time. But when you actually look at it, it's it's disgusting. The Chargers are a mess. I will say, if you're looking for a path to get to this side, I don't expect the Chiefs to have any sort of run game in this one. Keep in mind, Pacheco's hurt. They're going to be handing it off to Carson Steele, who looks okay, by the way. But he's not the type of runner that I think can beat this Chargers defense. I love those linebackers the Chargers got there. Perryman and what's the other guy's name? Henley. Those guys are good as hell. And I think the Chargers, those 2 inside linebackers, I think people are sleeping on how good that run defense might be this year. Yes, Joey Bosa's out, but he doesn't really help in terms of defending the run. So I don't think the Chiefs are going to be able to run the ball. And laying 7.5 points on the road, I mean, you do not want to do that with a one-dimensional offense. That being said, the one-dimensional offense is Patrick Mahomes throwing against a battered Chargers secondary with maybe no pass rush. Scares the bejesus out of me. But I'm going to bet this. Okay, God help me. What's the line? What's the Protos? Can you line shop for me and tell me what book to get?
It's going to be 7. If you have FanDuel, you can get 7.5 at minus 115. If these are still active, things might have changed, but yeah.
Are you doing a toast?
Yeah, I'm in.
Your location can't be verified. That's a sign. That's a sign from FanDuel.
That is a sign.
Yep. Put the phone down.
That's a sign. They're not letting me. FanDuel's like, come on, Kyle, please don't do it. Kyle, we like you. Shit. So, Chris, what are you on?
I didn't bet it either. I stayed off of this one. But Y'all make a lot of great points for the Chargers here. Man, the injury thing just really, really scares me a lot. And the one thing that we can say, like, I feel like people have been trying to fade Kansas City, just thinking that they're going to win games and not cover numbers all season. And I get it. A couple games they probably should have lost, and they ended up winning and covering. And there's potential for that yet again here. This is not like if you're going to fade Kansas, like if you're going to fade a team that has a really good offense, which the Kansas City doesn't right now. You got to make sure that they don't have a really good defense. And Kansas City defense just continues to play really, really good. And they continue to get really, really good breaks. I don't know what their luck rating is, but it seems like it's probably pretty high with the pass interference calls or non-pass interference calls at the end of games. So I'll stay off of this one. I will say Patrick Mahomes as a road favorite in the division, laying close to a touchdown is only 4-7 against the number. Somehow 7-4 to the over. I don't like the over in this game at all. So yeah, I'll stay away from this one. And he's 10-1 straight up, but just like I said, 4-7 against the number, laying close to a touchdown in the division as a road favorite. So no play for me.
Chiefs and being go ahead. Oh, I'm hearing myself in my own thing. As far as the Chiefs being dominant as well, the Chiefs are 9-0 their last 9 games, including the playoffs. They've won those games by a combination of 54 points. That's the smallest average margin of victory by any NFL stretch, but team that's went 9-0 in that time. So they are winning games, but they are not winning games, and they're really not covering. Yeah.
They've covered. I mean, normally I'm with the, hey, bet Mahomes to win, not to cover. But I've actually bet the Chiefs twice already. I had them against the Ravens in the opener, and then I had the Chiefs pretty heavy against the Falcons on in that one as well. So I bet the Chiefs twice already. I think this is a time to fade them. I don't think the run game's going to be there. So
just to make it even harder, Joe Alt is doubtful.
I know.
Maybe
just to make it even harder.
That's why I haven't bet anything.
All right, let's move on to the next game. Cleveland, Las Vegas. Browns, Raiders in the Injury Bowl. Headline of this game is who?
Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is the headline here.
Oh, okay. Chris
over
jumped
52 and a half. Yeah, over 52 and a half receiving yards is what I played for Brock. I think it's a 51 and a half when I was looking, probably maybe 30 minutes before the show. But, Devontae Adams got ruled out, and I immediately started looking into this when he got ruled out on Friday. So I think he'll step up and make those big plays. This is a team that passes the ball at the 6th highest rate in the NFL, that being the Las Vegas Raiders, and for the 4th most yards as well. And you look at Devontae Adams, like I said, a lot of it, in my opinion, kind of, is dependent upon him not being available for this game with that hamstring injury. But he has a 94% snap share over the first 3 weeks, and he's averaged 9 targets. Where are those targets going to go to? None other than Brock Bowers. Vegas has struggled to establish the run. I think that's quite an understatement. They're 32nd in rushing attempts per game, yards per game, and yards per play. So by far the worst rush offense. I think one of us could be a running back, and the other 4 could block and get more running yards than the Raiders do on the ground so far. And you look at Brock Bowers, 58 yards in week 1 against the Chargers, 98 in week 2 against Baltimore. He did come back down to earth in a stinker last week against Carolina, where they just kind of fumbled the game away. Only 3 catches for 41 yards in that spot. But I think it's going to be a big game for him, and I would be looking to. I did target him specifically over his 52 and a half receiving yards here.
Steve, you got anything for this one?
Yeah. No, I can't even make it up, guys. I hate this game. I just absolutely hate it. I don't know what else to tell you.
He was going to go for a freestyle for a second. He was like,
no.
Raiders have gone under their team total in 14 the last 20 games. And that's what I have to offer this show today.
Good trend. Hey, good trend there.
Trends myself. Browns traveling to the Mountain or Pacific time zone. Obviously, they don't do that a ton. 26 times they've done that since 2020 or 2003. They are 5-21 straight up in those games, including 0-7 straight up since 2019. Only averaging losing about 13 points a game. So that's kind of a thing that makes you want to play the Raiders. I'm not going to play them, but I also will say that Antonio Pierce, since taking over the Raiders, best coach in the NFL, 8-3-1 ATS. That's by far the best since wild card of last year. So, or whenever he took over. So Antonio Pierce figures out a way to get the job done. So it'd be Raiders or pass for me.
This is so the matchup between the Browns offensive line and the Raiders defensive front is mind-blowing to me, because in case you're unfamiliar with what's going on with the Browns offensive line, they're dealing with all kinds of injuries, right? They're missing both tackles, and so far this season, they are dead last in pressure allowed on their quarterback. Dead last. I believe the Cleveland Browns quarterback is receiving pressure on over 44% of his dropbacks. I'm pretty sure it's 44.2%, somewhere in there. It's been terrible. They cannot protect Watson. And to take it a step further, do you want to know who one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL has been this year when pressured? Deshaun Watson. They can't protect him. He can't handle pressure. That being said, Kuntz is out. Obviously, Crosby is out. So who's going to win that battle? The Browns' backup tackles or the Raiders' third and fourth edge rushers? Now, something I will say, the Raiders still have some talent. I like that kid Tyree Wilson, even though he hasn't seen a ton of snaps this year. I don't know how you could lay with the Browns here. How about that? If you're going to get the Raiders at plus money against a Browns team without those two tackles, I honestly think the Browns without those two offensive tackles, with missing Conklin and Wills, need to be spoken about in the same discussion as the worst teams in the NFL, because they cannot protect Watson and he can't handle pressure. So if you look at it through that lens, what can the Browns even do? A below average rushing attack, maybe with Jerome Ford. That's the identity of the team. A pass rush that disappears sometime. It would only be Raiders here in the current state of the Browns offensive line, but I don't have a dollar on it. Next.
I didn't bring much to the table, so I'm going to bring something else. Big Ben has the second most wins in Cleveland Browns Stadium, and he's not even a Brown. Just saying, behind only Baker Mayfield in their franchise. I just want to point that out.
Yo, someone, I forget who said it, so I don't want to say it because I can't give the proper person credit. But somebody on YouTube was reading off Browns quarterbacks in history and like their stats, and Deshaun Watson was like the second worst one, and the names on it were, damn it, I forget who it was. I wish I could give that person credit, but I can't remember who it was.
The third most wins in Bengals Stadium. He owns the state of Ohio.
Damn, owns it. Next up, Sunday Night Football. Who wants to go first? Want everyone jump at once?
Hold on. I'll go then. I don't have a play on the side. This is an interesting line here. Bills plus 2.5. Bills have gone over their team total in all three games. Obviously, we know their offense is just one well-oiled machine. So my best bet in this game is Josh Allen over 231.5 pass yards at minus 115. I got it. I really don't understand this line. The Bills have blown out pretty much every team they've played. He's still been over in 2 of the last 3. Even in the blowout last week, he had 263 yards. In that Dolphins game, he attempted 19 passes. We all saw the game. I just throw that one out. But here's why I love it. The Ravens are absolutely elite versus the run, allowing 2.8 yards per attempt, first in the NFL. Teams have to throw the ball, and we've seen it. The Ravens have allowed the second most pass attempts to opposing quarterbacks. Allen's pass attempts line is 31.5 juice to the over. If we just say he throws 30 or more, in the last 11 games he's thrown 30 or more, he's gone over this line in 9 of those 11. We're going to see some heavy passing from Josh Allen because they just have to. I'd be surprised if James Cook just absolutely cooks them, honestly. And then Ravens pass defense, I have not been impressed by the secondary. I haven't even. It seems like Kyle Hamilton is even struggling. It just seems like they're just not playing well. They've given up the most pass yards in the NFL. QBs versus Baltimore first 3 weeks. Mahomes 291, Minshew 276, Dak 379. All went over easily. New defensive coordinators really making a struggle over there. Not getting as much pressure as we're used to seeing from Baltimore as well. 231.5 for the MVP of the league right now. I don't understand why it's so low. And what are they going to do? Just run it 30 times right up against a brick wall? He's going to have to throw it. Give me Allen over 231.5.
Chris?
I definitely will co-sign that, and it's really just for what he just said. It was, the idea that you're not expecting the team to be able to run the ball against Baltimore. I know I'm not. You mentioned, and I talked about this earlier, right? Rush attempts are the lowest in the NFL, 17 per contest, 2.8 yards per rush, and only 50 yards on the ground. 50 yards on the ground. So yeah, I think outside of the actual yards to go over for Josh Allen, I think the pass attempts to go over as well. 39 per contest, the second most is what Baltimore is allowing right now, and I kind of I want to play Baltimore. I really, really do. know that, maybe I play them early because they can't seem to hold on to a lead. Even in their last game against Dallas, they left the back door open. And, we saw what Dallas was able to do to kind of come back and keep that game competitive. So, I think it's a sell high spot for Buffalo, but I don't have any money on it. So I'll take Josh Allen to go up and over his pass attempts here, and I'll take Josh Allen to go up and over his passing yards. I like them both.
You guys are both on Josh Allen props here.
I think he's muted.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, you got him.
Go ahead.
I like the Ravens a lot here, and they're probably one of my favorite plays on the board the more I look at this board. First and foremost, watching some John Gruden the last couple nights. He did a really good job. He's really corny, but he did a really good job that the Ravens are going to be playing in this 12 and 13 personnel, so you're going to see a lot of heavy dosage of Derrick Henry and whatnot. Why that's huge, Milano and Bernard for the Bills are going to be missing, and I think that could really cause them issues. And then the trends coming my way. Lamar Jackson as a dog of 3 or less at home, 17-2 ATS at home in the last couple of years, and not to mention the fact Lamar Jackson 23-7 ATS as a I just said that one. 14-7 in primetime ATS, 6-1 his last 7 in primetime. Ravens all the way.
Yeah, I'm on the same side. I like the Ravens a lot here. In addition to John Harbaugh being the man on primetime, I also think Lamar Jackson is the key here to making this Bills defense look bad. They have not, surprisingly, we were looking at it, the Bills have not seen many dual threat quarterbacks dating back to last season. Pretty much the only dual threat quarterback they saw last year was Jalen Hurts. Had 2 rushing touchdowns, 65 yards. Eagles put up 37 points in that game. The only dual threat quarterback they've seen this year, Kyler Murray, who kept that game close. How? Making plays with his legs. In case you've never watched the Ravens play before, their quarterback's pretty athletic, and he's pretty good at that. So I expect Lamar Jackson to go crazy in this game. Remember, that Chiefs game, that opener on the road in Kansas City, the Chiefs were by far the better team. You want to know why that game came down to the wire? Because Lamar Jackson was a hero. It was Lamar Jackson versus the Chiefs. I mean, him using his legs is the only reason Baltimore was in that game. I think he's going to use it to control this one. Buffalo, dating back to last season, what's their defensive weakness? Stopping the run. Defense looks pretty great against the pass so far this year. Off to a similar start as in terms of struggling to protect the run. Remember, Bernard's out, the linebacker, Milano was hurt, banged up, and I don't trust the Bills' run defense right now, and Baltimore's going to run the ball. And look, Josh Allen looks like the man. I faded him on Monday night. I took the Jags. He ripped Jacksonville to shreds. That being said, are we just going to forget all of last season? Like the rest of Josh Allen's career doesn't exist? Threw 18 interceptions last year. And there's some ball hawkers on that Ravens defense on prime time. The picks are coming, man. He's going to throw some picks in this one. And like Chris mentioned, okay. So first of all, hats off to Joe Brady. I really like the way he runs this Bills offense. Obviously, he has a superstar quarterback in Josh Allen who has the ability to make big plays, but he doesn't center the offense around that. He hands the ball off a lot. They're 5th in run frequency. He uses the run. Oh, they're also 31st in pace. He uses the run, slows the game down, keeps their opponent's defense on the field, rocks them to sleep, and waits for the opportunity to make the big play. It's actually beautiful. Hats off. I don't think he's going to be able to use the run game to rock the Ravens defense to sleep because they might average 2 yards a carry. This is not Mike McDonald's Ravens defense anymore. That's elite against the pass, weak against the run. This Ravens defense is elite against the run. In fact, like Chris said, one of the best run defenses in the NFL, which means Josh Allen may have to play hero ball with his arm. Interceptions coming for the Ravens defense. Kyle Hamilton off to the slow start, as Steve mentioned. Kyle Hamilton gets a pick in this one. I'm on Baltimore. Lamar Jackson, hero ball, loading.
I don't know what I said to the city of Pittsburgh, but I apologize. I just want to say that out loud.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say he's going to throw some, but it doesn't look like the type of year where he's going to throw 15 to 20. He gets rid of the ball quick. He knows exactly where his guys are. He's not sitting back there force-feeding Stephon Diggs or anything like that. Like, it just seems like a more well-oiled machine. He's going to throw some, obviously, but I don't know. It just looks different this year, where his life has been made easier. It seems like.
Someone just said in the comments, you guys don't know that the Ravens secondary sucks. They had the best secondary in the NFL last year, but now it sucks.
Like, wait, what?
All right.
Going back to that 3-game sample size again.
3-game sample size. The Saints phenomenon. It'll forever be referred to the Saints phenomenon. Worst team in the NFL in week 2, best team in the NFL in week 3, absolute fade in week 4.
You know what else does it too, Cal? Time. The longer you see it, like when you see a team struggle and then you don't see them play again for like 6 more days, it just starts to sink in even more. Like, oh yeah, that was terrible. I can never bet on the Jaguars again.
Also, no one's even mentioned either that if Buffalo's so good, why are they getting points? I know that that's very simple, but I'm just saying, like, come on.
Because it's Harbaugh in prime time. All right, let's do the community parlay, and then let's all go enjoy our Sundays. Let's run the song.
Community parlay, the parlay we bet, yeah. Community parlay is for the community. We come unite, making a parlay. Yeah.
All right. Let's get the parlay going.
Toast to Toast's point real quick, Kyle. So you look at Road Dogs in week 4, who are undefeated, 7-21 straight up.
Ooh. Where was that one earlier? That was a fastball low and away, bro.
Yeah, you spit on that.
It was a good one. All right. So they like the Jets. They like the Bengals. Eagles, Bucks. I think they like the Bucks in that one. I'm going to give them Eagles and Bucks as a choice because I can't remember which one they chose. All right, cast your votes. First leg of the community parlay. While they're voting, Steve and Chris. Steve, you want to tell them where they can find your stuff?
Yeah, just a bet outside on YouTube, on Twitter as well. But we just talk all things MLB, NFL, NBA. Give out a lot of research help for you guys to make your own bets as well as our best bets. And then we got NHL coming to the channel starting this week. Excited. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So appreciate you having me on again.
For sure. Make sure you show Steve some support. Check it out. Just About Outside. They do a great job over there. There's a reason we keep asking them to come back. And I'm sure you guys already know Chris, but if you were here during NBA season, you were probably sick of Chris by the end. So, Chris, for those of the people that don't know you, where can they find your stuff?
Yeah, you can find all my work over on X at Crispy Cappin, 2 P's and 2 N's. Same thing for YouTube. Same thing. I do a show in the morning to the time like 7:45. Try to get ahead of the early lines and some independent standalone videos as well. Excited for the WNBA today. We got 2 games in the semifinals. So yeah, excited to get back to work for NBA. I'm starting previews on Tuesday, Kyle. 2 teams per day over on YouTube as well until we get to the 15th. And then I think the preseason ends on the 18th. So super excited for NBA season right around the corner as well. Appreciate you having me. That'll work. So Kyle, that's what I was about to say. That first of all, that'll work. But that 5.5 is gone. It's down to 4.5. I looked last night. I don't know, but it's going down. I thought the town straight worked worse for the Knicks, but we'll talk about it. Me either. Not enough to move the opening day line to make it that I would want the Knicks even more. But yeah, maybe it's just a fade of Boston.
Oh, damn it. I had us muted. Damn it. Say the baseball bets again.
All good. Just really quickly, I didn't bet any of these games. I just want to make sure everybody knows that. I don't really feel like there's a lot of value. But if you have a gun to my head, Phillies run line, first 5 run line, Mets will win. The Padres will continue to win. Orioles will win. Reds first 5. Those are all plus money except for the Reds.
I'll be betting 0 of those.
Same with me.
Me too.
Diamondbacks and Mets are the only teams playing for something, right?
Yeah, and the Diamondbacks are going to lose.
Love it.
Toast already got his Padres to win the World Series bet in.
I've bet it many months ago, brother.
All right, Vikings money line is in the community parlay. Wow. Community's loving the Vikes. Definitely a public dog for sure. I don't care.
Am I a little worried about seeing Sale and Freed next week? Kind of.
So we got Steelers, Colts. They definitely like the Steelers. We got Patriots, 49ers. Yeah, they like the 49ers. Even though a lot of people voted for the Patriots in that one, it wasn't an overwhelmingly public side. Commanders, Cardinals. They like the Cardinals slightly, but some people voted for Commanders. Chiefs, Chargers. Yeah, they like the Chiefs. God, a Chargers win would really just make that 4 p.m. window. I don't even care if my bets are doing poorly. To watch Mahomes lose to the injured Chargers, that would make I would enjoy my Sunday. I'd be like, that was nice. I enjoyed that. Cast your votes.
Toast, is that already set up for your Padres? Is it Braves for sure? I thought it was still up to the Braves.
It's not for sure. Okay. But as a Padres fan, I know Freed and Sale are coming Tuesday, Wednesday. I know that.
Yeah.
He knows it, guys.
Trust me. You know.
Steelers money line makes it, which is to be expected. No one wants to bet the Colts right now.
I beg to differ. I love the Colts today.
I'm surprised with the amount of people that watch that we don't have people posting records of the community's picks in the parlay. Like, I wonder if it's good or bad. So people voted the Browns. People like the Browns to beat the Raiders. Bills, Ravens. Did the Ravens win that poll? Let me scroll up. Yeah, we scroll up some more. Ravens, yep. So Browns, Ravens,
Barely,
and then
that's a
couple
close one.
second place finishers in there. We got the 49ers. And we got the Texans you guys voted for. All right, what is the last leg of the community parlay? Cast your votes.
You guys know what the biggest public play is today? I actually don't
Bengals.
know.
According to the Wager Talk show, it was Bengals, but I really don't. I feel like if you check 10 different sources, you'll get 10 different most public
know,
plays. So
Weird, yeah.
that's why I like with that data. It's like the best way to determine what the public is on is just follow the sport, social media, watch it, watch the TV, watch ESPN, watch. And like for example, if the week 2 the Ravens were playing the Raiders right in Baltimore, you know that Baltimore's the public side, not because any data shows it, because you follow the NFL and you know Baltimore's the public side. You don't like. I think that's the best way to have an idea of what side the public is on. It's just follow the sport and you know what the casual fan would be betting. And by casual fan, I don't mean the incorrect fan. I just mean that's what the standard NFL fan would take Lamar Jackson over the Raiders. It's just how it works.
If you looking at like the YouTube and all those things as far as like people giving out picks and stuff, it'd be Bengals, Texans, Steelers is like the top 3.
Gotcha. Or just go ask 5 of your friends and see what they say.
Yeah, text my high school group chat. Who you guys like? Who do you fucking squares like, man? I'm waiting for the poll results to pop up. I hit end poll. There it is. Ravens money line. The community parlay. Jets money line. Vikings money line. Steelers money line. Ravens money line for a grand total of community. That's when I do that. That's when
They're behind. The last time there was like, because I was watching on the other show.
It was like gap. I know.
Yeah. And they had it in there.
Yeah, there's a gap because they did it right away, but I don't see it. So we're waiting. Someone throw the odds out there so we can go watch the Red Zone channel and enjoy our day.
Jets.
Is Jets? Who else?
Jets, Vikings, Steelers, Ravens.
Vikings.
Iceberg Samson says, I hate this parlay so much, so it should hit. Iceberg Samson said something hilarious yesterday, too. That's funny.
Plus 700 on FanDuel.
Plus 704. Tinker. Thanks, dog. Tinker is in first place in his division again. Tinker's performing in the league as usual. Everyone, can't thank you enough for watching. Chris, Steve, thanks for joining. We hit over 3,000 live viewers today, which is crazy. Really appreciate all the support. Sorry for the losing college football day yesterday. Let's bounce back today. Tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern time, same time as always. Everyone, enjoy your Sunday. Bet responsibly. I'll be in the Discord if you need me. Later.
Tinker
Later,
going
fellas.
in the Hall of Fame. He's consistently doing good.